It was always the case that we would be in a public setting and my dad would be flocked around. There were always people around him asking him questions, wanting to know about his career. And it felt so strange because at home, that was not who he was.
At home, Jeff Seaman was a loving husband and father. But to the rest of the world, he was one of the best middle linebackers the Minnesota Vikings have ever drafted.
I was the 10th guy picked in the first round that year, and so, I had high expectations, I guess, as a middle linebacker, and if we just won one Super Bowl, I think it would have changed a lot of the feeling about the Vikings, but still it was a very supportive fan base, and we were grateful for that.
He would live up to those expectations, being a 4-time Pro Bowl selection and part of 3 Super Bowl appearances. But those professional achievements didn't paint the full picture.
You would walk into my house and you would not see anything Viking related. I mean, nothing. And he was in, 3 Super Bowls, 4 Pro Bowls, and there was plenty of accolades that he had, growing up with his football career. But that was just something he did. And I think that was what we learned as kids.
Kelley was the youngest of the 4 children. And as time went on, she developed a love of her own for athletics. In fact, at the time she was in high school, she was ranked among Minnesota's all-time best basketball players, making her college choice, well, enviable.
It was Iowa, Iowa State, Wisconsin, Duke, Notre Dame. And so I remember going out to Notre Dame and almost immediately I knew that was where I was going to go to school.
Kelley would become a 4-year starter for the Irish, helping them climb the national ranks before culminating in a national championship in 2001.
So Ruth is on the line shooting free throws, barely makes both of these free throws.
Got the second one. It's a 2-point game. Camaro. Closer to Douglas at the buzzer. Didn't get it.
And now she had reached her mountaintop too, just like her proud father.
So to see her perform at that level was very impressive, and I'm so proud of her.
As Kelley looks back at that time, surprisingly, it wasn't the mountaintop wins that carried her into the next chapter of her life. It was a challenge from a fellow athlete.
There was a football player at Notre Dame, Jerry Wisney, and he was sharing his testimony at this group. He said, and if there's anybody straddling the fence, you've got 1 foot in the world and 1 foot, trying to follow God, and you want to get off that fence and you just want to follow God, raise your hand. And I remember just this complete brokenness in me.
And it was in that moment that Kelley realized why her dad lived his life with such humility.
I started understanding, do I want to live this way, and just be in the world, or do I want to live for Jesus? I'm done with this part of my life, and I'm going to live for the Lord. I got to start doing what my dad had done all along, which was start sharing my story, and I really fell in love with that. So it was an easy decision, I think, to make my life about this greater calling.
That calling led her to a place that values both sports and faith. Coach Carrie Green proved to be a great friend and mentor of Kelley's as they brought the Lady Flames to their first ever Sweet 16 appearance. When the time came for her to leave, she wouldn't go far.
Rep McGibbon here alongside a national champion in 2001 with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Kelley Deyo.
She now serves as a color analyst for the Liberty Flame Sports Network, the Big South, and the ACC. She's still at the top of her game. But I'm sure if you ask her, she'll tell you her greatest work is being the mother of her 4 kids. But as she pours into her children, she can't help but hear the echo of a lifetime of wisdom from an NFL star who just happens to be Grandpa.
I knew who I was then, but who am I now? And what is the basis for my self-image, and how do I view and see myself when I can no longer play the sport? And I'm no longer in the limelight, so to speak. How do I deal with me? If that humbling experience can work in such a way to bring us to the Lord, and that it's not us, but it's Him. He's the one that gives us our dignity, our self-respect, giving us purpose and meaning in life that we really can't get any other way.